It's hard to overstate how groundbreaking and culture changing Napster really was for us. Like, it was the killer app of the internet for teenagers. It was the reason that I got a computer when I was younger. It was like, I need to listen to music, and like my friends were doing it. And the stealing part wasn't even the point. It was just like all of a sudden you now had unfettered access, which is what everybody has today. So we take it for granted. Like, of course, if I could pay $9.99 or $15.99 or whatever it is a month and be able to listen to every song pretty much in the world, I would have just done that instead of the whole Napster game, because it was also a huge time sink and like failed downloads, and you get the file and it's like a really low bit rate version. And you're like, then you got to spend all this time futzing with the ID3 tags to make it look nice. And like, it was a ton of work for us. Thankfully, we had free time. But before that, I mean, access to music was not straightforward.
Yeah, I think especially as a teenager, right? Like you're limited in your funds and you have to make sort of your really strategic moves as to which album you're going to get. And yeah, I think it really did completely, change how we interact with music. And I think it was both the, you know, unfettered access to just like everything. And obviously the price point was attractive.
Well, of course.
But I think also there was like a feel of it too. Like, the way as a teenager you feel when you're sort of like pulling one over on the man. And I think you tie that with music, and I think teenagers like their music to be a little edgy and counterculture, and this sort of played into that, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. But the alternative was terrible. I mean, you'd buy an album. I guess singles were a thing, but you'd spend $20 to $30. Okay, used $9.99 for an album, and you would only know one song a lot of the times. Like, you'd hear a song on the radio, and of course you can't just hit repeat or anything like that. You got to either call in and request it, or hope they just play it again.
Oh my gosh, Jared. Can you remember actually like calling into a radio station and waiting on hold and being like,
Absolutely, yeah.
gosh, nobody
And
in
I
this
did it way
world
less. I remember
today
my
gets
sister
that.
did it more than I did because she was 3 years older, and I don't know. I had like a fear of phones. Like calling strangers was
Really?
difficult for me at that age. Yeah, not people my age, but older people. I don't know. It was like an anxiety. It's like, I don't know what to say. But calling in a radio station was pretty straightforward because all you do is just request the song you wanted. Still, I didn't do it very often, but my sister sure did it quite a bit. And yeah, just hoping they play your track. But then you think, okay, here's a song that I like. I'm going to go acquire that song so I can listen to it. And you have to go spend $20 to buy an album. And like 9 times out of 10, that's the only good track on the whole album. I mean, that's why we love albums that are good so much. Cause like, it's amazing back then to go buy an album and be like, holy cow, I can listen to all these songs when I really wanted the one I knew. And those are like why I think our generation also has a album fetish, so to speak. Like, we care about albums as an artifact more than songs. Not more than songs, but in addition to the songs individually. Whereas nowadays, a lot of new artists don't even release albums. They just release singles over and over again, and whatever works. But for
And they're called
us,
drops now,
oh yeah,
right? Not releases, they're drops.
is that what they call it?
Do
What the
you?
kids are
I
calling them?
believe so. I believe so.
And like all of that is downstream of this Napster, right? Like that now the unit of distribution is the file and not the packaged CD. And we sort of all that, it was sort of at some point inevitable the moment Napster came on the scene.
Yeah, there was no going back.